Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Last night, 8 spineless Democrats broke from the party to vote toward reopening the government after nearly 40 days of shutdown. Why is the break important? Here's why. Because Democrats were trying to hold out their vote until Republicans agreed on extending a portion of funding for the Affordable Care Act. That's set to expire at the end of this year. Without this extension, Americans across the country are likely to face higher insurance bills due to premium hikes. Republicans famously despise the Affordable Care Act, and you know why. So they really didn't want to vote for it. Instead, the Trump administration withheld SNAP, aka welfare assistance, from Americans who depend on the program. Think of it as a form of leverage to get Democrats to rush to reopen the government. Well, surprise, surprise. Withholding food from hungry Americans is not popular with voters, and Republicans were starting to feel the weight. That is until last night, and the spineless crew got together to go rogue. Yeah, fam. News of Democrats splintering votes sparked hundreds of reactions across the internet, including one familiar face, California Governor Galvin Newsome. He took to X and simply responded, "Pathetic." I ain't got no problem with that. Pathetic. Where is your spine, man? Sellouts. You can't tell me no different. See, you got those who are out in a couple of years. They're not going to be seeking re-election. And then you got those who just got elected and they're looking forward to the next 5-6 years, people forgetting what they did. And you know, oftentimes the Democrats do forget. They have a very short memory, and they don't hold their own accountable. This would have never happened in the Republican Party. That's the difference. The Republicans, they pick a leader or leaders and they say, these are the people that we are following. They pick one guy to lead the way, and then that one guy is over those other 3, 4, 5, 6, or however many of them, and they make sure everybody else stay in line. The Democrats don't have anything like that. So they don't know how to stay on code. And they're very friendly. Like, look, fam, I'm a friendly guy. I'm a friendly guy. But man, when it's time for war, it's time for war. When it's time for conflict, it's time for conflict. And I can be more brutal than anybody you can think of when it's time to be that way. The Democrats ain't got it in them. They don't have it. Collectively, they don't have it. They got a few soldiers, get down soldiers, but collectively, they don't have it. And that's why they're always taking one step forward and 50 steps backwards. They had them exactly where they wanted them. Trump was about to cave. He was even trying all kinds of stuff, talking about giving people $2,000 stimulus as a reward for the tariffs dividends. Huh? And then turns out that they don't even have the $2,000 to give. So that was really just to buy him some time to get people to think he was going to do something for them. He's going to give you $2,000, but you behind $6,000, $10,000. But he figures that, well, you know, if I give him $2,000, and then I let them know it's going to be more coming, and then if I continue to just blame everything on the Democrats. Remember when Trump was campaigning, and he said that the president is responsible for shutdowns. Any shutdown is going to fall on the responsibility of the president, because the president is tasked with gathering folks, getting people together, making them come together. At the end of the day, they're not going to be worried about who the House Speaker was. They're not going to be worried about who the Secretary of State was, or this person or that person. They're going to be concerned about the president. It's the president who the accountability falls on. That came out of Trump's entire mouth. But once it happened in real time, he did what he always does: blame anybody but himself. He just pointed the finger at everybody else. And his minions just eat it up. Ooh, man, I would never follow somebody that blindly. All right, man, I was with you for a minute, bro, but I'm starting to, you know what, man, I can't do it no more, bro. I can't rock with you no more, man. That's too much. I can't do it. At some point, you got to go ahead on and just say, you know what? I can't rock with you no more, man. The Democrats, they did the same thing when Biden got in. Everybody all hopeful, like, okay, we in now. We got it. Biden went his ragged ass up in there and passed that anti-Asian bill like that anti-Asian hate bill like that. Meanwhile, the anti-lynching bill that has been on the table for decades is just still sitting there collecting dust. It wasn't Asians who got Biden elected. It was black folks. That's why he had to run a black vice president. That's how he got the vote. But when it came down to the action, he went right on around and skipped over the people that got him in once again. So unless these dudes are going to be held accountable, you are wasting your vote. If you're not going to hold them accountable, you are wasting your vote. But that accountability starts with holding your leaders accountable first. You got the leaders within the party has to hold the leaders accountable, right? The leaders got to come together and say, oh no, your ass got to go. We put you in charge to handle business. And if you ain't going to handle business, you got to go. That's the way the Republicans do it. They get behind one person. I don't care how slow that person is. It don't matter how rude that person is. It don't matter how ignorant that person is. It doesn't matter how much of a rogue he is. It doesn't matter how hateful he is, how racist he is. None of that matters. All that matters is their ideologies. All that matters is can he execute our plan? That's all that matters to them. If you can do that, you in. Democrats don't have that. They don't have party members who hold their leadership or their main leadership accountable, their leader accountable. They don't have anybody like that. And that's why time and time again, the voters really don't get what they voted for. Now, one could say that, hey, well, the Republican voters, they're not getting what they asked for either. They're not getting any low gas prices. They're not getting low food prices. They're not getting what they want. But the party itself, the leadership is getting what they want. And what do they want? Money, 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 money. Yeah, money and power. So they're getting what they want. Trump is getting what he wants. You know, his minions, everybody under him, everybody right around him, they're getting what they want. But the rest of them, the voters, the regular voters, the numbers, the millions, they ain't getting jack. Remember I told y'all that. You ain't getting nothing When Trump get out of office, you're going to be just as poor as you was before he got in. No more talk.